Hello, this is Malorian, and now this will be the fourth game of the Out of the Basement tournament, and it's now going to be my Orcs up against some Chaos Dwarves. Alright, this is going to be a great fight because, as you can see here, it's Chaos Dwarves, and the last time I played against Chaos Dwarves was actually the last time I played this guy. So it's almost like he's the ambassador of the Chaos Dwarves. Last time he was using, I think it was the indie version. Now he has a whole fancy new book that they had Forge World release. And one of the neat things going into this is that both of us were like, damn, I'm screwed going into this game. Because he was looking at my list and thinking it was just crazy. And I was looking at his list and it's like, I don't know what the hell this stuff does, but there's like a train, a super gun, a monster, these fire my guys. But luckily, I mean, just like we're last time when we met with the indie book, he spent like 10 minutes explaining the whole book. This time, he just kind of like, yeah, here's my book, I'm going to go get a drink or whatever, and I had like a good 10 minutes just to read through the book and kind of understand what things did. So some of my biggest worries here are pretty much this whole engine thing. I can't remember its full name, but it's the little train thing there at the bottom left. It's going to be super tough to deal with. Luckily, if I can get some sort of like chariot or my troll into it, that should shut it down, or maybe my chuckas can bring it down. The cannon could be a little bit of an issue, but probably won't. We'll have to depend how fast I can get into them. But the main thing is these little fire beasts, because of course with my black orcs having the fire banner, these guys would have a 2+ ward to them, so it's like a perfect counter. They would just chew right through my guys. And then of course he has this whole Lamassu, whatever it's called, with the Lord on top. And last time we played, he actually crushed me because he was able to fly in, did like a terror bomb. My whole line just kind of like fell apart. So I'm going to be very careful to control where the guy goes, maybe shoot him down. And then of course there's all the regular Chaos Dwarf stuff on the right. But at this point, I just wasn't really worried about it. Pretty sure that my units can just cut them down. The other thing I decided to do with this game is finally get this whole D3 redeployment out of the way. And he got 2, and there's a whole bunch of things you could have done, like put units behind others, put a unit behind a war machine. But you know what? Really, all he did was switch these 2 units, the Savages and the Night Goblins. So, a nice guy, that's for sure. I mean, he even said, I don't want to screw you over too much. So, hopefully I can make good of it now. So overall the board looks like this. It was Dawn Attack, which made things kind of crazy to begin with. You can, I've already told you what he has in his army. You can see how it ended up at the top there. For my part, where things ended up is a good amount of the war machines on the far left corner with my bunker with BSB and 2 chariots. Got my savages there, a doom diver, my night goblins, then 2 of my chuckas, a troll, and then my black orcs on the far right, which are conveniently right across from his big fire monsters. So not so great there. One thing I could be doing is using the Hand of Gork to get away from them. Foot of Gork might go and smash them down. And on purpose I put my war boss there so that since flaming attacks don't transfer over to magic weapons, he can at least put in a good punch, especially with his potion of strength. So hopefully that'll go my way. The mission here is one where there's these 2 giants yelling at each other. And you can go up to them and grab them, but then what happens is every turn is they do a thunderstomp to you, even if you're a chariot or something. It's like the super giant thunderstomp from Storm of Magic. So at the end, each one you hold is 300 points, pretty important. Well, it can be, but the big thing is, remember, I still have to win 1 more by objective. So at the end of this, I want to make sure I hold 1 of these giants. So really, the way I see this battle going down is I'm going to hold back for a little bit, shoot them, shoot them, shoot them, and then counter after. And then hopefully in that whole counter and cleanup, that's when I can grab the giants. So he gets first turn, stuff is moving up, and pretty much all that really happened apart from this is he got some spell off on his Chaos Dwarves on the left that gives him pretty much internal hatred, and then his big cannon went and killed a whole bunch of my Savage Orcs. On my turn, I just really moved up with my chariots and my savages on the left. My black orcs actually moved back. In the magic phase, I was able to get down the Foot of Gork onto his destroyers, killing 2 of them and wounding another, so that I felt pretty lucky about that. And then was shooting into his big tank thing. I think I took off a couple of wounds this turn, but not too bad. I'm am kind of worried that he could try and do a combo charge with his warriors and his Lamassu onto my savages, but I think I'm far enough back that for his movement 3 dwarves he probably couldn't make it. His turn 2, this was going to really help. Conveniently, it was right when he just moved these little shooting chaos dwarves up underneath him. But the Lamassu is actually a wizard in its own right. Death magic is what it had. And it went and sniped out and killed off one of my big bosses. But then it was irresistible force. The Lamassu was sucked into the warp, the big blast killed a few of these chaos dwarves, so at least now I don't need to worry about this guy flying around and causing too much trouble. Remember, though, I don't get any points unless I kill this guy too, but with all my war machines I should be able to pull it off. So apart from that, his little train keeps on moving up, his dwarves only slightly move up, and his fire guys really rush up to me, but there's actually another rule where they have to pass a toughness test every turn or else they take wounds, and he took like the maximum number of wounds or whatever it was, so he's down to only 2 guys, so now that's fantastic. I can jump in there, I can kill him off right away, and all of a sudden I'm just feeling so good about this battle. He was able to kill off my troll, so the troll won't be able to hold up his train, but the way it is now, I should be able to kill those fire guys on the left, swing around, and then finish it off. So my turn, I have an animosity issue in that my night goblins can't do anything, but I tried charging in with my savages. They fail. During that same charge, I was able to get my wolf chariot into the flank. I lost and broke, and he decided to stay there. I popped my potion of strength. Those little fire monsters are all gone, and with all my shooting, I brought down that little train thing to 1 wound. So that's fantastic. I'm not worried about it at all anymore. And I tried doing a little bit of shooting my Doom Divers into his general there, but it just scattered off, and I think I killed maybe a couple of his little shooty warriors instead. His turn 3 then, his warriors jump into my savages here, and this is something where I don't really feel too bad about. I'm going to kill a whole bunch on my turn. I guess this character in there makes them stubborn, but I don't really care. I can just grind these guys down. Or at least that's what I thought would happen. So, pretty much just getting right to it. Yeah, he got that hatred spell off. He just kicked my butt. I lost by, I can't remember, it wasn't much, but I broke, luckily got away, but in getting away, I ran over my BSB unit. My BSB unit panicked as well, and so all of a sudden my left flank is just falling apart. So that's not good whatsoever, but hopefully, with my general coming, I can swing over and get there pretty quickly. My turn 3, what happened is I charged the chariot and the Black Orcs into this little train thing. The Black Orcs failed. I had to use Hand of Gork to move myself to where they are now, which I think is a great placement. But the chariot by itself, with impact hits, was able to finish it off, so that's fantastic. Both my units rallied, so that's good news. The Night Goblins are in a position to counter. All my shooting then went into those warriors just to try and bring them down. And it's in a not too bad spot right now. I mean, they're a little bit weakened. I wish I could have weakened them more. I keep on trying to hit them with Foot of Gork, but Foot of Gork keeps on scattering. But, the Black Orcs are coming, so it's not too bad. I get another wave of good luck too, where he decides to charge his 1 shooty warriors here into my Night Goblins, which I thought was great. I mean, obviously he's making it so I can't counter, but with me, with my big bosses and stuff in there, I'm sure I'm going to kill them no problem. And then there on the left, he tried charging me and failed to charge, so that's lucky and buys me more time. And in the end, it looks like this. So, you can see he's trying to get away from my Black Orcs. By the way, in order to get to my Night Goblins, he charged my Wolf Chariot first. I fled, got away, so that's why it's taken off. And then in combat there, I killed a few, not as many as I thought I would. One of the things that we weren't really sure about is if Night Goblins have hatred against Chaos Dwarves. I'm not really sure about that. I mean, Chaos Dwarves apparently don't have hatred against Greenskins, so we kind of rolled it off. It worked out so that they didn't. But anyway, I still have more to kill there, but I still feel I have no problem killing that unit. My turn 4, the Black Orcs, since it was kind of a really far charge, just go marching on up, just so I'll be in a better spot next time. This time, the Night Goblins, even though he killed one of my big bosses, I beat and broke his Chaos Dwarves. Unfortunately, for one, they got away, and for two, I didn't go far enough to get into his lord. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but things are still looking fairly good. His turn 5, his guys keep running there, his Chaos Warriors run into my unit and charge it, and that one is kind of more of a fluff fest. As you can see, we didn't really lose many guys at all. I seem to remember that this one turned out to be a tie, and I'm pretty happy with that. My turn 5, and this is where things start to kind of fall apart. First of all, I had an animosity issue where my two Night Goblins decided to fight each other, so that's not good because I was wanting my Night Goblins, if nothing else, just to start rushing towards a giant, but they're kind of stuck there. My Black Orcs charged the fleeing guys there. They're in front of me, those shooty dwarves, and so I caught them, but the problem is that they ran so little that, you stop wherever you catch them. So I'm still fairly far back. It looks like I might be able to just barely get that other giant, but it's going to be pretty close. All my shooting tried to kill that bloody lord, but with scatter and misses, just could not get it done. He also has a 4+ ward, so that saved him a bit. And then as you can see, the big news is that he beat my Savage Orcs and then ran them down, and he's now into my Night Goblins. So, between losing all those 460 points for the Savages, this little bunker, and the BSB, these damn Chaos Dwarves are costing me a lot. His turn 6, last turn, he kind of surprises me. I guess it was kind of the obvious thing to do, but his shooting dwarves there go and swing down, and they grab the giant. So I just, for some reason, did not expect them to do that. Now I'm going to have to try and deal with it with a Thunderstomp that only killed 2 out of the 4, so they're still there. And I already know, because he was double checking with it, that if I charge him, he flees with it, and he doesn't actually drop it. So I'm going to have to try and kill these guys off. He killed my bunker, killed my BSB, so they're all gone. So again, havoc is happening on the left, and I'm trying to catch up on points. Another thing he's actually done by now too is with his magic from his lord and using death magic, he's now killed my level 4. So again, a whole bunch of points for him. So last turn of the game, this is what it really comes down to. First of all, the Black Orcs charge the Chaos Dwarves at the very bottom. Now, he needs a 9 to run off the board, so he decides to risk it, and he rolls a 9. So that was such a big, huge luck, just what I needed at the very end to get those points. I passed my test to redirect into these dwarves. They run, they get away, and now all I need is to kill 2 dwarves to not only get the points for the unit, but to make sure he doesn't get the 300 points for holding the big giant there. So I'm shooting all my war machines, I got my doom divers, and it's just miss, 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 scatter, hit, and my doom diver got 2 hits, and I rolled a 1 and a 2. So I didn't even kill one guy. So that's the way it crumbles, and the game ends. So I was pretty nervous when he added up the points. I was really hoping it wasn't going to be a loss. Maybe luckily it'd be a win for me. But when you put it all together, it turned out that the difference was under 100 points. So a true tie, even by the book standards, by the tournament tier, you had to be at least 300 to get a win. But yeah, just a really fun battle. I mean, this is a guy at the end, you had the vote for your favorite game. This was it. It was just a ton of fun. And again, just something that I talked about before is I've always, and actually my opponent's probably going to be pretty surprised to hear this, is that my standing is that Chaos Dwarves should not be part of tournaments. And the reason for that is that I see it as an advantage because most players going into the tournaments don't know the book. And it almost seems like an unfair advantage that you can walk in and have all these units that are pretty, even though I know that says that that's a main book, there's not really a main book, and so really with that knowledge difference, you have it so that nobody really knows what's going on. However, with this guy, it's not that at all. I mean, he's so friendly about it. It's more like just sharing the hobby, where he explains what everything is and joking about it, the goods, the bads, and all this stuff. And I'd have no problem playing a guy like this with it whatsoever. Now, keep in mind, he didn't have all the nasty stuff. He didn't have, like, the Destroyer or anything like that. Like, there's one thing I know about Chaos Dwarfs. It's a Destroyer, because it's all over Warseer about how crazy it is. And I know some tournament lists with Chaos Dwarfs, they'll be running 2 of them. So, I mean, compared to that, this is a fairly nice list. He even asked after, how bad is this list? And you know what? It's a nice list. A little bit of everything, and it just looks fun. And even though I think that in general they shouldn't be in tournaments, it was a lot of fun to play against because it's something new, it's something fresh, and he made it so fun. So, walking out of it with a tie, I'm not really upset about it. Looking around with the other people, it turns out that a lot of the people that had triple massacres before lost or got a minor loss with their last game. So it's actually interesting that when they did the next pairing to see who should be playing next, the 2 top players were us again. But, they can't have us playing 2 times in a row, even though I would have been totally up for it. So hold on tight. The last game's coming up.